AITA for exposing my wife's ex for using our daughter's birthday as a cover? By 38, I had gotten pretty good at pretending small things did not bother me. I'm Dominic, married to Lauren for almost 9 years, and the one thing I never pretended about was our daughter, Mia. Every Saturday morning, Mia and I made pancakes shaped like whatever animal she was obsessed with that week. Some weeks that meant rabbits with lopsided ears. Some weeks it meant dolphins that looked more like potatoes with tails. She never cared. She would stand on the little step stool beside the counter, wearing one of my old t-shirts like an apron, and say, "This one is definitely a turtle," even when it was absolutely not a turtle. For a long time, those mornings convinced me our house was still a safe place. Lauren and I were not perfect, but I did not think we were broken. We had gone through the normal married stuff: bills, tired weeks, small arguments about dishes, who forgot to buy paper towels, who was supposed to answer the school email. After almost 9 years, I knew marriage was not always fireworks. Sometimes it was two people sitting on opposite ends of the couch, half watching a show and passing a bowl of popcorn back and forth without talking. I was okay with that kind of quiet. What I was not okay with was the new quiet. Lauren had started carrying her phone around like it was a glass of water she could not set down. She used to leave it on the kitchen island, on the arm of the couch, half buried in laundry. Then one day, it was always face down. Then it was in her back pocket. Then it was password locked with a code I did not know. I noticed, but I hated that I noticed. Nobody wants to become the husband who keeps score of his wife's phone habits. Nobody wants to hear himself ask, "Who are you texting?" and realize he sounds like a man he would not respect. So I did not ask at first. When she laughed at a message one night while we were folding towels, I smiled and said, "Something funny?" Her face changed so fast it felt rehearsed. "You don't have to narrate every text I get, Dominic." I blinked. I wasn't narrating. I just asked. "I'm tired," she said, scooping up Mia's pajamas. "Can we not do this?" There was no this. That was the problem. Nothing had happened, but suddenly I was being treated like something had. Around that same time, Mia's 7th birthday started becoming Lauren's explanation for everything. If she was late getting home, it was birthday errands. If she did not answer a call, it was party planning. If she snapped at me over nothing, it was stress about making the day special. At first, I believed her. Mia had been talking about her birthday for months. She wanted pink and yellow balloons, a number 7 candle, vanilla cupcakes, chocolate ice cream, and party favor bags with stickers, mini bubbles, and those tiny plastic rings kids lose within 5 minutes. Lauren said she wanted to handle it. "I know you like lists," she told me one night, standing in the pantry and staring at her phone. "But just let me do something without hovering." I put both hands up. Fine. I'm not trying to take over. Except somehow I still ended up doing most of it. I ordered the balloons. I called the bakery 2 times because Lauren kept meaning to. I picked up the paper plates, napkins, juice boxes, extra candles, backup forks, streamers, and a cheap plastic tablecloth because I knew frosting would end up everywhere. I made the playlist Mia wanted, which was mostly movie songs, and one pop song she had no business knowing all the words to. I set up the folding table in the backyard and moved the cooler into the shade. Lauren still told everyone she was drowning in party planning. In the family group chat, she wrote, "Running around for Mia's party. If I don't answer, that's why Dizzy faced Dizzy." Her mom, Denise, replied, "Want me to grab candles?" Lauren wrote, "No, I've got it. Party stores are a nightmare." I read that while standing in the kitchen with a pack of candles I had bought 2 days earlier. I told myself not to be petty. Maybe she forgot. Maybe she was overwhelmed. Maybe I was paying too much attention because something already felt off. Then came the first lie I could actually see. It was a Thursday. Lauren said she was going to pick up custom cupcake toppers and a few decorations. She made a point of saying it in front of Mia at breakfast. "Mommy has to get secret birthday stuff today," she said, tapping Mia's nose. "No questions." Mia grinned. "Is it unicorn stuff?" "No questions," Lauren sang. I remember looking up from my coffee and thinking Lauren looked nice. Too nice for a party supply run. She had changed into jeans that were not her usual errand jeans, a fitted sweater, earrings, and perfume. Not the light one she wore every day. The other one. The one she used for dinners out. Still, I said nothing. That afternoon, the doorbell camera caught her leaving at 12:47. She was not carrying a list, a tote bag, or the old reusable shopping bag we kept by the hall closet. When she came back at 3:18, she had no decorations, no cupcake toppers, no receipt in hand, nothing. She did smell different, though. Not just like her perfume. There was something else on her jacket when she walked past me in the hallway. Cologne, maybe. Something sharp and unfamiliar. How was the store? I asked. Chaotic, she said without looking at me. They were out of half the stuff. I'll have to go again. Did you get the toppers? They messed up the order. Do they need us to reorder? She finally looked at me. Dominic, I said, I'm handling it. The camera did not prove betrayal. It proved the first lie. That night, Mia was using the shared tablet at the kitchen counter, drawing a purple cat with wings. The tablet was technically mine, but Mia used it more than anyone. Lauren had logged into old accounts on it years earlier, and random notifications still popped up sometimes. I was rinsing plates when a calendar banner dropped from the top of the screen. L+E 130, South Lot. Mia did not notice. She was busy giving the cat a crown. I dried my hands too slowly. I stared at the letter E longer than I should have. Daddy, does this look like a queen cat or a princess cat? Mia asked. Queen, I said, my voice sounding normal only because I forced it to. Definitely queen. The notification vanished. I did not grab the tablet from her. I did not run upstairs and demand Lauren explain herself. I did not search her phone. I stood there with a dish towel in my hand and realized I had two choices. I could explode with half a clue and let Lauren call me paranoid, or I could pay attention. I chose to pay attention. The next week, Lauren's birthday errands kept multiplying. On Monday, she texted me, still in line at the party store. This is ridiculous. The family safety app, which we used mostly for school pickups and emergencies, showed her location sitting near a coffee shop beside a large parking lot. The party store was 14 minutes away. I took a screenshot. Then I hated myself for taking it. Then I took another one when the location stayed there for 42 minutes. On Wednesday, she told me she was with Denise getting last-minute stuff for Mia. In the family group chat, Denise wrote, Honey, are you still coming by later? I made the pasta salad. Lauren responded 15 minutes later. Got stuck at another store. Long story. Rachel, Lauren's older sister, added, Thought you already picked up decorations? Lauren sent a laughing emoji and wrote, Kids' parties are never one trip. I stared at those messages while sitting in the parking lot outside Mia's school, waiting for pickup. A line of cars moved slowly around me. A dad in front of me kept opening his door to look for his kid. Somewhere behind me, someone honked. My whole life looked normal from the outside. Inside, I was making a list. Date. Claimed errand. Actual location. Message contradiction. I did not know what I was building yet. I just knew I needed facts before I let anyone tell me I was imagining things. Mia noticed in her own way, though she did not understand. One evening she sat on the kitchen floor, sorting stickers into party favor bags, and said, Mommy says birthday stuff is secret, but she never brings bags home. I froze with a sheet of unicorn stickers in my hand. Then I smiled because she was 7 and deserved a normal answer. Grown-ups are weird about surprises, I said. Mia nodded like that explained everything. Can I put 3 bubbles in Emma's bag because she shares snacks with me? Sure, I said. Emma gets 3 bubbles. After she went to bed, I sat at the kitchen table and looked at the folder I had started. It was a plain blue folder from a pack of office supplies. Nothing dramatic. No red string. No detective board. Just printed screenshots, handwritten notes, and receipts from our joint account. One charge stood out more than the others. $23.48 at a cafe near the same parking lot. The date matched the Thursday Lauren claimed the cupcake toppers were messed up. I knew the cafe. It was not near any bakery we used. It was not near the party store. It was not near Denise. It was, however, next to the South Lot. A $23.48 charge told the truth better than my wife did. The real confirmation came from a friend who had no idea he was stepping into my marriage. His text came on a Friday afternoon. Not trying to start anything, but isn't this Lauren's car? Below it was a photo taken through a windshield. Not dramatic. Not zoomed in like surveillance. Just a casual picture from a parking lot. Lauren's car was parked beside a dark truck. The truck had a dent near the back wheel and a faded sticker on the rear window. I knew that truck. Evan. Lauren's ex-boyfriend. The one she had called ancient history. The one from before me. The one who had appeared in a few old photos years ago when we were looking through albums and Lauren laughed like the whole thing embarrassed her. That chapter is closed, she had said then. Apparently, closed chapters can still have calendar invites. I sat on the edge of our bed with the phone in my hand and felt something inside me go very still. It was not the kind of rage where you throw something. It was worse. It was the kind where your body understands before your brain finishes catching up. The birthday errands. The phone. The password. The face-down screen. The calendar invite. The cafe charge. The family chat lies. Evan. I wanted to confront her that night. I wanted to hold up the photo and say, explain this. I wanted to hear her lie with evidence in my hand, just so I could stop wondering whether I was being unfair. Instead, I called my brother Mark. He answered with, "What's up?" And I almost could not speak. I told him enough. Not everything. Just enough that there was a long silence on his end. Then he said, "You're calmer than I'd be." "I'm not calm." "You sound calm." "That's not the same thing." He exhaled hard. "Do you want me to come over?" "No. Not tonight. You need to confront her. Not without knowing what I'm walking into." "Dumb. I have Mia to think about." That shut him up for a second. Then he said, softer, "Just don't let them make you the villain because you came prepared." I did not know yet how close he was to naming Lauren's entire plan. 2 days later, the shared tablet gave me the part that changed everything from betrayal to strategy. Mia had left it on the couch after playing a drawing game. I picked it up to plug it in, and a message preview appeared across the lock screen. It was from an account name I did not recognize right away, but the preview was enough. "After her birthday, tell him you need space. Don't let him make you the bad guy." I stood there holding the tablet like it had burned me. Another preview came in before I even moved. "If he gets mad, that proves your point." Then both notifications disappeared. Deleted, probably, from whatever device Lauren was actually using. I did not open anything. I did not have to. The previews had appeared on a shared device in our living room. I took pictures of the screen with my phone before they vanished completely, including the time. That was when I understood. Lauren was not just sneaking around with Evan. She was building a story. I replayed the last few weeks in my head. The way she accused me of hovering when I asked basic questions. The way she sighed in front of her mother and said, "Dominic has been intense lately." The way she told Rachel in the group chat, "I can't even plan Mia's party without feeling watched." She was not reacting to me. She was preparing people for me. After Mia's birthday, she was going to ask for space. She was going to say I had become paranoid and controlling. If I got angry, that would be proof. If I left, she could say I abandoned the house after our daughter's birthday. If I stayed and argued, she could say she felt emotionally unsafe. It was not one mistake. It was a system. The next morning, an email recovery alert appeared on the tablet. Something about a login from a previously trusted device. An old account, not one I used. Lauren had always had too many old emails, and I had never cared because I had no reason to. Now I had a reason, and I still did not go digging. Instead, I printed what had come to me legally. Doorbell timestamps. Family app screenshots. Joint account charges. Family group chat messages. The parking lot photo. The calendar notification I was able to find because it had synced to the shared calendar list before disappearing. The message previews. The email alert. Then I called an attorney. Sitting in that office made everything feel real in a way screenshots did not. The room was quiet, with framed certificates on the wall and a box of tissues on the corner of the desk like the people there already knew what happened to families before the families said it out loud. I did not go in trying to destroy Lauren. I went in because I did not know what leaving, staying, separating finances, or communicating about Mia would mean if Lauren tried to twist the story. The attorney listened without making a face. When I finished, she said, "Do not threaten. Do not disappear. Do not use your daughter to send messages. Keep records. Keep your communication calm and in writing when possible. If you leave for a night, document that it is temporary and that you are not abandoning parenting time. Do not make decisions based on anger." I almost laughed because anger was the only thing keeping my hands from shaking. She continued, "And do not have the confrontation in front of your child." "I won't," I said immediately. That was the one thing I already knew. Mia was not going to become a witness to adult betrayal. She was not going to be asked what mommy did, where mommy went, or why daddy looked sad. Her birthday was going to be her birthday, even if I had to swallow glass to make that happen. The day before the party, Lauren acted almost affectionate. Not toward me exactly, toward the idea of us. She kissed Mia's forehead while Mia was eating cereal and said, Tomorrow is going to be perfect. Mia bounced in her chair. Are there going to be balloons when I wake up? Maybe, Lauren said, smiling. I had already picked them up. Lauren looked over Mia's head at me and said, Don't forget the ice cream. It's already in the freezer. And the extra plates? In the cabinet. She gave a little laugh that sounded fake. See? This is what I mean. You're so tense about everything. I looked at Mia, who was licking milk off her spoon. I'm just trying to keep the day normal, I said. Lauren's phone buzzed. She glanced down, then turned it over. Watching her kiss Mia's forehead while lying to me was harder than any screenshot. That night, after Mia went to bed, I stood in the backyard under the weak porch light and tied streamers to the fence. The balloons were in the garage, weighted down so they would not float into the ceiling fan. The cooler was cleaned. The party favor bags were lined up in a laundry basket. The number 7 candle sat on the counter beside a box of matches. Mark called while I was taping the plastic tablecloth down. You're really going to smile through a birthday party? He asked. For Mia? Yes. And after? After depends on Lauren. No, Mark said. After depends on you not letting her run the room. I looked through the window and saw Lauren sitting at the kitchen table, texting. I know, I said. The morning of the party, Mia woke up screaming in the happy way that makes your heart jump before your brain remembers it is not an emergency. Balloons, she yelled. For the first 2 hours, I was not a betrayed husband. I was just Mia's dad. I poured juice boxes into the cooler. I adjusted the folding table after one leg sank into the grass. I wiped frosting off a chair before anyone even sat in it. I helped a kid find his shoes. I lit the number 7 candle while Mia stood on tiptoe, cheeks pink, surrounded by friends singing too loudly and off-key. Lauren played the part beautifully. She moved around with a bright smile, hugging relatives, fixing Mia's hair, telling everyone how stressful the planning had been. I barely slept, she told Denise. Denise rubbed her arm. You did a wonderful job, honey. I was carrying a tray of cupcakes when I heard that. Rachel caught my eye for a second. She looked away first. Lauren arrived late to her own setup, by the way. She had gone on one last errand that morning and came back 20 minutes before guests arrived, holding a single roll of ribbon like it explained 2 hours. You're being weird, she whispered while I was cutting open a bag of ice. I'm busy. No, you're tense. Then help with the cooler. She looked offended, then walked away to greet her mother. I kept moving. Mia laughed when cake got on her nose. She opened a stuffed turtle from Grace, my aunt, and hugged it so hard everyone smiled. She showed her friends the sticker table. She ate half her ice cream before it melted into soup. For that stretch of time, the day belonged to her. I made sure of it. I did not look at Lauren unless I had to. I did not touch the folder, which was zipped inside my backpack in the hallway closet. I did not answer Mark's text that said, You good? Because the answer was no, and because I was holding a stack of cake plates. After gifts, the kids started drifting away from the main table. Some went outside to chase each other around the yard. A few went into the playroom with Mia to look at her new toys. Grace, who had been watching me a little too closely all afternoon, stood up and clapped her hands. Come on, kids, she said. Let's take the bubbles outside before they end up on the carpet. Mia grabbed her turtle and followed without a complaint. I loved Grace for that before I even knew she understood anything. The adults stayed near the gift table, surrounded by sagging balloons, half-empty cups, crumpled napkins, and the sweet smell of melted ice cream. Denise was sitting with Rachel. Mark was near the back door, arms crossed, pretending not to watch Lauren. Lauren must have felt safe. She picked up a paper plate, glanced around, and said with a tired little laugh, I'm just glad the party is over. Dominic has been acting weird for weeks, like I can't even plan our daughter's birthday without him hovering. Denise made the sound she made when she was about to judge someone politely. Dominic, she said, marriage needs trust. A wife should be able to plan her child's birthday without being monitored. Rachel shifted in her chair. Maybe everyone's just tired. Lauren shook her head. No, he's been intense. Asking questions, watching everything. It's like I need permission to leave the house. Mark's jaw tightened. I looked toward the playroom. I heard kids laughing. Mia was not in the room. So I said, say it again. Lauren blinked. What? Tell everyone I was hovering while you planned the party. Dominic, not today, Rachel said quietly. I looked at her. Today is exactly why we are talking. Lauren rolled her eyes, but there was a flicker of nerves behind it. You're proving my point. I walked to the hallway closet, took out my backpack, and removed the blue folder. The room changed before I opened it. Not loudly. Nobody gasped. Nobody stood up. But the air shifted. Denise stopped touching her necklace. Rachel sat straighter. Mark looked down at the floor like he was trying to keep himself from speaking. I placed the folder beside the gift table, between a pile of wrapping paper and Mia's leftover party favor bags. You're right, I said. I was watching closely. Because every time you said you were planning her birthday, you were meeting your ex. Lauren's face went blank. Then she laughed. It was a terrible laugh. Too sharp. Too fast. That is insane. I nodded once. I thought so too. You are accusing me of cheating at our daughter's birthday party? No, I said. I waited until the children left the room. You did not give Mia that same respect when you used her birthday as cover. Denise stood up halfway. Dominic, this is not how a husband handles problems. I agree, I said. A husband should not have to bring a folder to his daughter's birthday. But a wife should not use her daughter's birthday errands to meet Evan in parking lots. Lauren's eyes widened when I said his name. It was small, a half second, but everyone saw it. Rachel whispered, Evan. Lauren snapped. This is ridiculous. It was coffee. I opened the folder. If it was coffee, you had a strange way of hiding it. She pointed at me. You watch me for weeks? Do you hear yourself? I documented what came through shared accounts, joint statements, our family app, our doorbell camera, and messages you sent to people in this room. I did not hack your phone. I did not follow you. I did not ask Mia a single question. I'm not asking anyone to believe my feelings. I'm asking you to read the dates. My voice did not shake. I know because I noticed how badly my hands wanted to. I laid out the timeline, not all at once, not like a speech, but piece by piece. Thursday, 12:47 p.m. doorbell camera. Lauren leaves for custom cupcake toppers. No bags. No list. No pickup slip. Thursday, 1:30 p.m. calendar sync. L+E, South Lot. Thursday, 2:06 p.m. joint card charge. $23.48 at the cafe beside that lot. Thursday, 3:18 p.m. doorbell camera. Lauren returns with no decorations. Monday, text from Lauren to me. Still in line at the party store. Same time, family app location sitting at the same cafe. Wednesday, family group chat. Lauren says she is with Denise getting last-minute birthday stuff. I slid that page toward Denise. Denise read it, then frowned. Lauren, I wasn't with you that day. I didn't mean literally with you, Lauren said quickly. Denise looked up. You wrote, with Mom. Lauren's mouth opened, then closed. I know, I said. That is why it is in the folder. Rachel reached for her phone. Wait. Nobody spoke while she scrolled. Her face changed before she said anything. This text, Rachel said, holding up her phone slightly. This was the same day you told us you were at the bakery. Lauren snapped. I was doing a lot of things that week. Rachel looked down again. But the bakery pickup was Friday. Dominic picked it up. You asked me if I could remind him. Rachel did not apologize to me right away. She just stopped arguing. That was enough. Lauren's eyes started shining with tears, but it felt like she had chosen them from a shelf. You are humiliating me, she said. No, I said. You tried to humiliate me first. You just thought I would come with nothing but anger. That is exactly what this is, she said, voice rising. This is anger. This is control. You kept a folder on your wife. I kept records because you were already telling people I was unstable. Her face shifted again. I pulled out the screenshots of the message previews from the shared tablet. I did not hand them to everyone right away. I put them on the table where they could see the top line. After her birthday, tell him you need space. Don't let him make you the bad guy. Denise read it and sat down slowly. Rachel whispered, what is that? A message preview that appeared on the tablet Mia uses for drawing, I said, followed by another one that said, if he gets mad, that proves your point. Lauren's tears stopped. That scared me more than the crying. She said, you took pictures of my private messages? They appeared on a shared device in our living room. And I'm glad they did, because now I know this was not just about Evan. This was about setting me up to look like the problem after Mia's birthday. Mark finally spoke, low and blunt. Were you going to tell him to leave? Lauren turned on him. Stay out of this. He nodded once. That's a yes. Denise put a hand over her mouth. For the first time that day, she looked less like Lauren's defender and more like a mother realizing her daughter had used her. "Lauren," Denise said, "why would you say you were with me?" Lauren's voice cracked. "Because I knew he would make it ugly." I laughed once, not because it was funny. "You were meeting your ex and planning how to make me look unsafe, and you're saying I made it ugly?" "It was coffee, Dominic." "With deleted messages?" "We were talking." "About what?" "How I would prove your point if I got angry." She looked away. There it was. Not an admission. Not an apology. Just the first silence she could not weaponize. Then her phone rang. The timing was so absurd that nobody moved for a second. Lauren looked at the screen and declined it. It rang again. Rachel, of all people, said, "Answer it." Lauren glared at her. "No." Mark said, "Put it on speaker." I said, "Stay out of this." The phone stopped, then buzzed with a voicemail notification. Lauren grabbed it off the table, but her hands were shaking. She fumbled and hit play instead of whatever she meant to hit. Evan's voice came through thin and tinny into the room. "Lauren, I didn't know you were telling him all that. Don't drag me into your home situation. You said things were basically over, and I'm not getting involved in some divorce mess because you wanted attention." No one breathed. Then he added, almost as an afterthought, "And don't tell people I promised anything." I didn't. The voicemail ended. Lauren stood there with the phone in her hand and nowhere to put her face. Evan was not a grand villain. He was worse in a smaller way. He was cowardly. He liked being wanted, but not enough to be responsible for what wanting him had cost. Denise whispered, "Oh, Lauren." Lauren turned on me again because I was safer to blame than the truth. "You enjoyed that," she said. "You enjoyed embarrassing me." I looked at the cake crumbs on the table, the sagging balloons, the little pink fork Mia had used, the whole stupid, beautiful party I had protected with my teeth clenched. "No," I said. "I hated every second of it. That is the difference between us." She flinched like I had raised my voice, but I had not. I closed the folder. From now on, anything about Mia is in writing. Anything about us goes through the legal process. I am not performing happy family for people you lied to. Denise started crying quietly. Rachel kept staring at Lauren like she was trying to recognize her. Mark walked to the back door and checked through the window, probably making sure the kids were still outside with Grace. Lauren said, "You're leaving? So that's it. You're abandoning your family." There it was. The trap, even after being exposed. I looked directly at Denise and Rachel when I answered, because I wanted witnesses. I am not abandoning Mia. I am making sure she is safe and happy today. I will be here for cleanup if needed, and I will see her at the planned time tomorrow morning. I am not discussing adult issues in front of her, and I am not staying in the same room tonight pretending this marriage is fine. Lauren shook her head. "You're destroying her birthday." "No. Her birthday happened. She had cake, presents, friends, and bubbles. I made sure of that. You used her birthday to hide your meetings. That is on you." Grace came in a few minutes later, her expression careful. She looked at the adults, then at me. "Mia wants to show you her turtle drawing before everyone leaves," she said. I nodded and followed her into the playroom. Mia was on the floor with her new stuffed turtle tucked under one arm, drawing on paper now because the tablet was dead. She had frosting on her sleeve and grass on her socks. "Daddy, look," she said. "It's a turtle with a party hat." I knelt beside her. "That might be your best turtle yet. Can we make turtle pancakes tomorrow?" I had to swallow before I answered. "Yes," I said. "We can." She studied my face for 1 second longer than usual. "Are you sad?" I brushed a crumb from her cheek. "I'm just tired, bug. Big party day." She accepted that because children want to trust the adults around them. That is exactly why adults have to deserve it. I did not leave immediately. I helped gather wrapping paper. I carried trash bags to the bin. I put leftover cupcakes into a container because Mia would want one later. I did not speak to Lauren except about practical things. When the last guests left and Mia was upstairs with Grace helping her find pajamas from the overnight bag she sometimes used at family sleepovers, Lauren cornered me by the kitchen sink. Her voice was low and furious. "You planned this whole performance." I rinsed a frosting-covered knife and set it down carefully. "You planned to make me look unstable so you could ask me to leave after the party." Her lips pressed together. "It wasn't like that." "Then what was it like?" She folded her arms. I felt trapped. "That might have mattered to me if you had said it before Evan, before the lies, before using Mia's birthday as your schedule cover." "It was never physical," she said. I looked at her then. Really looked. The strange thing was, I realized I did not need the answer as much as I thought I would. Maybe it was physical. Maybe it was not. Maybe she would tell me a version that made her feel less guilty. It no longer changed the shape of what she had done. You're still trying to make the line small enough to step back over, I said. You do not get to call betrayal harmless because you chose a cafe instead of a hotel. Her face twisted. You think you're so righteous. No, I said. I think I'm done. I stayed with Mark that night, but only after sending Lauren a text, exactly like the attorney had told me to do. I wrote, I am staying at Mark's tonight to avoid further conflict. This is temporary and not abandonment of Mia or the home. I will pick Mia up at 9 a.m. for breakfast as planned. Please keep communication about Mia in writing. Lauren replied almost immediately. You destroyed our family in front of everyone. I typed, deleted, typed again, and finally sent only what needed to be said. No. I waited until the kids were gone. You used our daughter's birthday to hide your meetings and prepare a false story about me. That destroyed it. Then I muted the thread. For the first time in months, the silence in my phone felt like peace. Not happiness. Not relief, exactly. Just the absence of someone dragging me into a version of reality that kept changing whenever I caught up to it. The next morning, I picked up Mia. Lauren looked terrible. I do not say that with pleasure. Her eyes were swollen. Her hair was pulled back too tightly. Denise's car was in the driveway, but Denise did not come outside. Mia ran down the steps with her stuffed turtle. Pancakes, she said, like nothing in the world could be more urgent. Pancakes, I agreed. Lauren stood in the doorway. For a second, I thought she might say something adult in front of Mia just to force a reaction. Instead, she said, have her back by noon? I said yes. Mia and I made turtle pancakes that morning. They were not good turtles. One looked like a shoe. One fell apart when I flipped it. Mia declared the broken one was swimming, and I laughed for real for the first time in days. I did not tell her what happened. I did not say Mommy lied. I did not say Evan's name. I did not ask if Mommy had been on her phone, or if Mommy had seemed sad, or if Grandma had said anything. Mia was 7. Her job was school, pancakes, bedtime stories, and losing plastic rings from party favor bags. It was not gathering emotional evidence for adults. The legal process did not move like it does in movies. Nobody slammed a gavel the next morning. Nobody instantly won. There were forms, temporary arrangements, uncomfortable emails, bank appointments, and a parenting communication app that made every message feel like it belonged in a file. But the boundaries held. Anything about Mia went in writing. Pickup times, school events, doctor appointments, birthday thank you notes. Lauren tried calling late at night 2 times, and I did not answer. I responded the next morning by text. Please send anything about Mia here. Financial separation happened through proper channels. I did not drain accounts. I did not make threats. I gave the attorney what she asked for and followed instructions even when my pride wanted faster revenge. Lauren hated that most. She wanted a dramatic version of me. She wanted me to yell, to say something ugly, to storm off in a way that made the story easy for her. Instead, she got email timestamps and calm replies. Her family did not all rush to apologize to me. That would have been too clean. Denise sent one text 3 days after the party. I am upset with both of you, but I need to say I did not know Lauren used my name. That was wrong. It was not an apology, but it was more than I expected. Rachel called me a week later. I almost did not answer, but I did. She sounded tired. I don't like how everything came out, she said. I don't either. But I saw the messages. And I checked dates. She lied to us too. I know. Rachel was quiet for a moment. Then she said, I'm sorry I told Denise you were probably overreacting. That one landed harder than I thought it would. Thank you, I said. Evan disappeared from the story almost immediately, which told me everything I needed to know about him. Whatever fantasy Lauren had built around him did not survive daylight. I heard from Rachel later, indirectly, that he had told someone Lauren liked being wanted more than she liked being honest. It was a cruel thing to say. It was also not wrong. Lauren tried a few more times to pull me into emotional arguments. You're cold now, she texted once. I replied, I am keeping communication clear. You don't care what happens to me. I care about Mia. Adult issues can go through the appropriate process. You're punishing me. No, I am removing myself from the lie. After that, she stopped texting unless it was about schedules. Mia adjusted better than I feared, and worse than I wished. Children notice changes even when adults think they are being careful. She asked why I was not sleeping at home every night. I told her, "Mom and I are figuring out grown-up things, but we both love you and your schedule is not your job to fix." She nodded, then asked if she could bring her turtle between houses. "Yes," I said. "The turtle can travel." So the turtle traveled. It sat in her backpack during school pickup. It came to breakfast. It went back with her at night. It became the soft little witness to a transition I never wanted for her. But at least it was not a transition built on pretending. Saturday pancakes stayed. Sometimes they happened in my kitchen. Sometimes I dropped off a container because it was not my morning and Mia had asked. Sometimes we made them on video when schedules got messy. I kept them boring and predictable because boring and predictable can be a gift when a child's family is changing. Lauren eventually stopped performing the perfect wife routine because there was no audience left for it. Denise still helped her because mothers are complicated. Rachel became quieter around her. Mark stayed blunt and loyal, though I had to tell him more than once not to make comments where Mia could hear. "Fine," he said once, holding up both hands. "I'll behave." "Actually behave," I told him. He sighed. "You're annoying when you're right." The separation moved forward. Not with fireworks. With paperwork. With uncomfortable conversations about custody schedules, shared expenses, school pickups, and who had Mia on which holidays. My attorney kept reminding me that the goal was stability, not revenge. I needed that reminder more often than I wanted to admit. There were nights I sat alone and replayed the party. I wondered if I should have confronted Lauren privately first. Then I remembered she had already made it public. She had stood in front of her family and painted me as controlling before I opened my mouth. She had used Denise and Rachel as props without telling them. She had planned to use my reaction as evidence against me. I did not expose her to win a scene. I exposed the scene she had already built. The difference matters to me. A few months later, Mia asked for turtle pancakes again. By then we had a routine. She climbed onto her step stool, serious as ever, and inspected the batter. "Daddy." "Yeah." "Can turtles have party hats even when it's not their birthday?" I smiled. "I think turtles can do whatever they want." She considered that. "Good. This one is fancy." I made the worst turtle pancake yet. The head detached in the pan, and Mia laughed so hard she had to sit down. For a few minutes, the kitchen was just warm light, pancake batter, syrup on the counter, and my daughter laughing with her whole chest. That was what I had been trying to protect all along. Not the marriage photo on the wall. Not the version of our family Lauren wanted people to admire. Not the peaceful silence that only existed because I was ignoring what did not make sense. I used to think protecting my daughter meant keeping the family picture hanging straight. Now I know it means refusing to let her grow up inside a frame built on lies. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.